first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. Thank you for joining us wherever you found us. We do appreciate it. We are live streaming on our YouTube channel at kptv.com and the Fox 12 Oregon apps. And one of the things that you know if you watch this show that we get to do sometimes is do a deeper dive on some of the reporting that you see across our news programs. And we get to have the reporters and anchors to hear themselves, which is Pete Ferryman joining me here.
Hey.
I think it's the first time on Fox 12 Now.
Yeah, it is. I've been waiting for the invitation.
Well,
I sit right over there. I'm like, when's it my turn?
Okay, that's fair enough. That's on me. Well, Pete, thank you, for being here. And there's something, a report that you have out right now, this piece that's really getting a lot of feedback from a lot of people. And we want to play this here, but I wondered if you could just tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, it's something that I've been working on for the last couple of months. I was made aware of a situation in Northwest Portland in this neighborhood that's been going on for a while. A lot of frustrated parents and neighbors. Essentially, to sum it up, before we air the piece, show it to you here. There are organizations that distribute, give away for free, clean needles and pipes to drug users and drug addicts in our area as part of a harm reduction program. The merits of that are subject to debate. My story doesn't really go into the merits of that. But what it does focus on is the location. And there's harm reduction, but neighbors and parents in this area say that it's actually creating harm because they say it's happening in exactly the wrong location. And if we roll the story right now, you'll be able to see what they have to say.
Let's do that.
Every Friday, this paraphernalia pop-up opens for business in this busy Northwest Portland neighborhood, providing clean needles and pipes to drug users free of charge, no questions asked. The goal? Reducing harm by preventing infections and disease. The problem? The location, right in the middle of a school zone.
Essentially, our message is we want them to relocate. Do your outreach. Just don't do it within 550 feet of a kindergarten.
Is it that way?
Parents and neighbors have since joined forces accusing Portland Street Medicine and the Portland People's Outreach Group, or PPOP, of refusing request after request to move their operations out of the school zone. Videos and photos obtained by Fox 12 show why they're so concerned. They say every week the free giveaway immediately attracts droves of drug users, followed by a swarm of drug dealers, with the resulting street party lasting for days. Drugs like fentanyl and meth sold in broad daylight, users disregarding the presence of children nearby, and no evidence of outreach workers providing any treatment literature or sharps containers.
The way I see it, what they're doing is they come into our neighborhood, they pour gasoline on a fire, and the fire gets worse, and it gets worse every week. It gets worse every month. It gets worse every year.
They drop needles, they drop the pipes, and then they leave. And then we're all left here to deal with it the next day or the next hour. And then the drug dealers come in right after they leave. It's absurd.
Surveillance video shows kids and parents forced to navigate a dangerous obstacle course, which continues through the week as children make their way to and from school. But the problems don't stop there. Drivers in the neighborhood must also steer clear of trouble. And one neighbor, Michelle, who asked that we not show her face or use her last name, says she has since become the target of a group of masked activists.
Are they Antifa? Are they black shirts? Are they brown shirts? I don't know what they care about because they won't talk. They just taunt and harass.
She says that group recently confronted her outside her home, shouting profanity-laced threats.
I crossed the street. They followed. We crossed back over the street. They followed. They were at all the corners, at least 20 people that we've seen.
A police report details Michelle's experience, with the group shouting, "You better run. Where are you going now?" Later, an officer explains that no arrests can be made because she can't identify the masked suspects, suggesting she sleeps somewhere else tonight. Her home security camera captures the moment police escorted her home as members of that group waited by her front gate to taunt her.
I did not know this.
Michelle, take care.
Michelle. Goodbye, Michelle. Have a nice night. Sleep well.
She says the group also hoisted a banner near her home featuring a syringe and an anarchy symbol.
We reached out to both organizations about the reported harassment, and while they didn't respond to that, they did provide statements outlining their commitment to saving lives and helping the community.
They responded in part, quote, Portland Street Medicine offers health care to people living outside at no cost to them. We choose our service locations based on where our patients are because they cannot otherwise access the care they need. We have met with concerned neighbors and other community-based organizations to find ways together to alleviate the impacts of the homelessness crisis across Portland. We look forward to continuing these conversations. PPOP also responded, saying in part, quote, in light of recent feedback, we feel the best approach for all is analysis and thoughtful discussion of the concerns prior to organizational change. This process might commence slower than some would like. This is often the reality of volunteer organizations with limited resources. Moving forward, we hope to have further discussions with all interested and caring parties. Meantime, the parents and neighbors say they've already been asking for months and are tired of being stuck in what they describe as a nightmare.
I love Portland. I love the city. I love the spirit of experimentation. But sometimes you have to just admit when an experiment fails.
I mean, wow, that is some shocking footage, I've got to say.
Yeah, a lot of people have responded with exactly that. They don't understand why this is happening. I can tell you that I did reach out to both of those organizations about the source of their funding. Whether the county is supplying any of the supplies or providing any sort of financial benefit to them. They didn't respond to that question either. The neighbors and the parents, meantime, just say that they're hoping that calling attention to this, that this story will help, perhaps affect change, and that these organizations will reconsider their position. I guess we're just in a wait and see mode right now.
Yeah, to see if something will actually happen, because I guess based on their statement, they said even if they do make changes, it could be slow or it's.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of miscommunication, and when you got nonprofits, you've got a lot of volunteers. There may not be direct lines of communication. Decision making, maybe akin to like steering the Titanic. A slow movement. But at the same time, those neighbors and parents, and a lot of our viewers say it just doesn't make sense, right?
No.
What's happening? It doesn't make sense. Why not just move it? A
Away
couple
from
of
the
blocks
school.
away from a school zone, and and again, the focus of the story was not on the merits of these outreach programs. That's a whole nother debate,
right?
Whether we're creating harm or reducing it. But the location itself, at least according to the parents and neighbors, they just think that it's a no-brainer to move it. But,
It would seem like that would be a very simple solution to at least this one issue on that.
It's up to the viewers and the neighbors, and and perhaps the county government, the city government, to decide. I do know that Michelle, the woman who we interviewed there, who didn't want her last name used, has been testifying. I believe she testified today before the county. Is trying to call some attention to this. But again, the movement has just been really slow, at least from their perspective, on addressing the problem.
Well, and I would imagine, for her, just looking at some of that video too, that harassment right outside of your front gates, like that's, for anyone, whatever your situation is, that's something that's discomforting.
I think it just comes down, Greg, to common sense. I think that anybody who sees that would agree, no matter where you stand, politically, where you stand on these outreach programs, would agree that is just ridiculous, and there's no place for that in discourse when it comes to solving the city's problems. Unfortunately, I think that we've seen that type of activism time and time again, and it's unfortunate because like she said, she just doesn't really even know what they want, those group of masked activists, because they won't talk. They just simply taunted her. And I thought what was really remarkable was when the police, escorted her back to her gate, and those activists are right there taunting.
Yeah, you could hear it. You could hear it there on the tape. Sleep well, or
sleep well. And yet the police, weren't doing anything about that at the time. Now, to be fair to the Portland Police Bureau, I've interviewed Chief Day. I've interviewed a lot of officers. Their hands are somewhat tied because the system there seems to be some dysfunction.
Yeah.
And if they were to bring those people up on harassment charges or whatever alleged crime they may want to pursue, the odds of that being prosecuted in Multnomah County at this time are pretty slim, and therein lies the problem. And we've had suspected dealers of fentanyl captured by the Portland Police Bike Squad that I know we followed up on, and some of those dealers have been no complainant, no charges filed. So if you can't pursue charges against a drug dealer, sometimes with stolen guns in their possession, how are you going to bring charges against somebody who's
for harassment?
So frustrating situation. We're going to stay on top of it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I mean, again, incredible reporting there and video, and just really shining a light on this and what's going on for those people in that community.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated.
Well, thank you very much, Pete, for being here and sharing that. And thanks to everybody who's tuning in. Again, this is Fox 12 Now, so we live stream here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and sometimes we're able to do this where we'll get our reporters on, our anchors, and talk about these stories. And
I'll be waiting for my next.
Yeah, he's right down here. I know. I'll do better on that. But thanks everybody for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg W. This is Fox 12 Now.